My name is Wes Astro. I'm the training director for Plumbers Local 75 Education. A little history about me. I graduated high school in 1989. I went to college, University of Milwaukee, about 3.5 years. During that time, I had a friend. He said, "Hey, why don't you sign up for an apprenticeship program?" I'm like, "Okay." So I did that, and lo and behold, 1993 started as a first-year apprentice as a plumber. 1997 became a journeyman, and then in 2000 passed my master's exam with the state of Wisconsin. So the opportunities are out there. Hands-on. So we have on-the-job training, correct? So 90% of the time we're working on a job, and 10% we're in the classroom learning. So I call it Wisconsin's best kept secret, because how many of you, put your hands up in the air, like to get paid to learn, right? That's what happens at 10% of the time. So I do a lot of presentations to high schools, especially the juniors, and I always kind of show this chart, and I say, you're in the middle of this chart. Which way, what path are you going to follow? How many are going to go to college? You know, most of them raise their hands. You know, you go on to a 2-year tech school, you might go directly into the workforce. So apprenticeship's just another avenue down the path of life. There's 3 different types of apprenticeship. Industrial, which is manufacturing, service, and construction apprenticeship. So today, we're going to be talking more specifically on plumbing apprenticeships, of course. So up here I have all the building trades that are apprenticeable in Wisconsin. So there's like 24 different trades that someone can get into. And again, more specifically, we represent the plumbers. So a little statistics for you. So this is right off the Department of Labor website. It's coming from the Occupation Outlook Handbook. So that's telling us there's supposed to be a 22% increase in workforce, and it's not showing up too well, but it's by the year 2022. So between 2012 and 22, we're supposed to have a 22% increase, 11% in all trades, all occupations, I'm sorry, and 21% in all trades workers. Skip that slide. So the skill gap is widening. So you earn and you learn, right? You're learning on a job and you're earning money for doing that. You're earning life-supporting wages or family-supporting wages, and requires the same knowledge and foundation skill set as post-secondary education. So there's a lot you're putting on the line to get into an apprenticeship system. So here's a comparison. I'm sure you might have seen a chart similar to this in the past. So instead of spending roughly $40,000 on a college education, you're making $200,000 within a 4-year period of time. We install water piping from the mains in the street, or it could be a well. So we bring those pipes into a building. It could be a commercial building, could be a residential building, could be industrial type building, any type building. So we're bringing potable water into the building. So we're using that water every day, right? And we're getting rid of that water, the wastewater, back out to the streets, or it could be a septic system. So we install code compliant piping systems. Our code book is about this thick. So that's how much information you have to know as a plumber. We work with other trades. So other apprenticeable trades. So that would be an example of an operator engineer. They dig our holes and we put the pipes in the ground. Some other pictures of plumbing. An example of some sanitary drains going through some foundation walls. So every building starts from the ground up. So we're working with our hands, we're installing pipes. We have to make sure we have the correct pitch on the pipe so the wastewater flows on the inside wall of that pipe, so it scours and cleans that pipe as it goes down. This is one of my favorite pictures because it resembles a lot what we do. This is a restaurant right outside. It's actually near Wauwatosa, near Mayfair. It's either Applebee's or a Ruby Tuesday, something like that. But so as you're sitting in a restaurant, do you ever think about how much it takes behind the scenes or inside the walls of what goes on with plumbing? So there's over 100 pipes we're looking at, and what kind of knowledge do you think you have to know to install all those pipes? So we have to get, off of a blueprint, read a blueprint. Math is huge in our trade, so we're getting those dimensions off of a blueprint. We have to know what kind of materials we're installing, and then we have to know what size pipes we're installing, and let alone work with the weather, climates, the weather conditions to get those pipes installed. Here's a picture of a grease interceptor. So outside of that restaurant, that would be an example of where that separates the greasy waste from the wastewater. So storm and sanitary, the difference between that. So storm drain would be a drain catching rainwater like on a flat roof of this building. So we install all the pipes to take that rainwater away, which we call conductors. And sanitary is sanitary waste from toilets, sinks, slabs, so on and so forth. Some more pictures. So if you ripped a drywall off your wall, let's say in your bathroom at home, what are you going to see? You're going to see probably some copper pipes. Could be CPVC, CPVC. Could be regular PVC waste pipes or cast iron drain pipes. So some more pictures. Here's a picture of some PEX lines coming up to a guy gray box, we call it, for a washing machine on a residential facility. Some more pictures of that. So coming up here, we got more industrial or more commercial type pictures of wastewater. Here's a picture of a carrier and a lab carrier. So again, behind the walls, I have another good picture here. So there's 5/8 rods actually sticking out of the wall. That's what holds up a water closet. So a toilet we call a water closet. So those are all carriers for water closets. Also, we install natural gas piping. Could be propane gas piping. Gas regulator. Here we got an 8-unit. I see all the 8 lines coming out for the individual units. Here we got a 16-unit. Could be apartment building. So we're installing all those pipes. So what kind of math does it take to figure out all those offsets? Plumbers work, we could be on a residential 1 or 2 family dwelling, or we could be working on a 20-story building. So we have to know the plumbing codes to install the correct systems. Here's an example of a booster pump to pump water up to higher floors. Some commercial water heater installations. So again, residential water heaters, that'll be a tankless water heater. Water treatment devices. So we also install septic systems or mound systems. So again, we're outside. And that would be where our wastewater goes if we live out in a suburban area. And we also do welding as plumbers, so we might weld gas pipe. We work in all types of buildings. It could be a high-rise, it could be 1 or 2 family dwelling, could be a hotel, it could be a factory. So we work in all of those places. And if it's residential, commercial, or industrial, all of those buildings need to be maintained. So if you like, dealing with consumers, customer relations, you might want to get into the service repair industry. So apprentices work for an employer. They are sponsored by the committee. So they are under contract with the sponsor in the state of Wisconsin and the Bureau of Apprenticeship Standards, Department of Workforce Development. In addition, plumbers are licensed through the state of Wisconsin. So after that, it's a 5-year apprenticeship. I'll talk about that next. But it's a 5-year apprenticeship, and you do have to pass that journeyman's exam to become a journeyman plumber in Wisconsin. Wages. A journeyman plumber right now in the Madison area, for us, makes $36.42 an hour. So first year apprentice starts out at $14.57. Up and beyond that, there's fringe benefits, so pension, health, education fund, and industry fund. So the contractors pay the benefits that's on top of that wage. So total package, this is of a journeyman, $53.49 per hour. Apprenticeship requirements currently 8,000 hours. It's a 5-year program. 572 of those hours, those are the hours you're getting paid in the classroom, as I mentioned before. And then the 260 is the night school instruction. So you must pass your journeyman's exam to become a journeyman. So application. So to make application with our program, the Madison Area Plumbing Joint Apprenticeship Committee, that is your address and phone number. We'll get that information out to you. We do need high school transcripts and or a GED, HSED. That's a minimum requirement. Aptitude test. So a test card will be issued to complete the aptitude test requirement at Madison Area Technical College. These are the minimum state 9 scores. 66 in reading comprehension, 66 in arithmetic, and 33 in elementary algebra. So that qualifies you or failed to qualify you to get your letter of introduction. So if you do fail any part of the AccuPlacer, you just must submit proof of tutoring in the area failed. Step 5, you meet with the Madison Area Joint Apprenticeship Committee, and then you are issued a letter of introduction. So that grants you access, and you can actually seek employment with a plumbing contractor. And you're also placed on a pool list, so that's to be used by any training facility to hire you on as an apprentice. So I like this. I don't know if you ever seen Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs. Did you ever see this? Anyone? No? Yeah. So it's work smart, not hard. So he hated that so much. He actually changed it around and work smart and hard. So I believe that's true with any kind of apprenticeship program. So placement into apprenticeship. So you need a high school diploma. Most trades require a driver's license. Most trades require a drug test. So substance abuse program, pre-employment drug test, or even random drug testing. Most trades require a basic skills exam. So we require the AccuPlacer. Some require an interview, and you must physically be able to perform the work of the trade. So beyond apprenticeship, so there's other opportunities out there. You can go on and become a foreman, a supervisor, estimator, owner, contractor, an instructor, designer, inspector, or a consultant. So recruitment for apprenticeship. So currently I sit on the Milwaukee Area Joint Plumbing Apprenticeship Committee and the Madison Joint Plumbing Apprenticeship Committee. So I see a lot of applicants come through. When I recruit, I look for someone who wants to work with their hands and their brain, someone who is strong in math, as we use a lot of math as plumbers, a person who is willing to work in all types of weather, a person who isn't afraid of getting dirty, a person that comes to work on time, someone competitive, and someone looking to learn. So attitude is everything. And, you know, we talk about that money in the beginning of the presentation, but that comes if you like what you're doing. So again, you have to have a good attitude, and that'll take you a long way.